What is happening, Magnus? What is happening? So I hear that Obama has gone off on a bunch of black men that are voting for Trump. They do not want to vote for Kamala Harris. This is what I've heard. I'm sitting here looking at the walls and it says "Stop Trump, Harris walls." So I don't. Maybe he's speaking on the subject then, because it doesn't look like he's in a place that is supporting Trump. So let's check this on out, shall we?
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Well, first of all, she's not you. She doesn't have your charisma. She doesn't speak as well as you do. There wasn't electricity about you, sir. This is a totally different person right here. All right? And one thing I don't get, when they talk about they bring race into this so much. Race and the fact that she's also female. Like, you should be going on policies. Okay? That's what it should be. That's you need to vote. Who's going to make your country better? I don't care whether it's Democrat or Republican. Who's going to make the country better? All right. But like at least Obama was half. She's like supposedly 1/4. Depending on what expert you're talking to, she either doesn't have any black blood, no African blood whatsoever, or she's 1/4. I don't understand how you can run on I'm a black woman if you're 1/4. I wouldn't run on, hey, I'm an Irish man, even though I've got Irish blood. I wouldn't run on, I'm Italian. I've got Italian blood. I wouldn't run on, hey, I'm Native American. Native Americans, vote for me. That's not my blood. That's not the majority. Okay? The majority is African American blood. That's what it is. Okay? I wouldn't run as Scandinavian, even though I have Scandinavian blood. I don't understand that. And people will say, yeah, well, it's just to get the black ticket. That's the black vote. That's all it is. It's like, oh, she's got a drop in her. Oh, okay, I'll vote for her because she's black. First of all, you shouldn't vote for someone just on their skin color. You need to vote on if they truly are going to make the country better. Good Lord.
I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly. And say that when you have a choice that is this clear.
He almost looks like a dad chewing out his sons or a grandfather chewing out his sons.
When on the one hand you have
it's not clear.
Somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles.
I'm looking at a few things. She grew up mainly Canadian, correct? So I'm like, what do you mean she grew up like us? And she was raised in an Indian family, so she really didn't grow up like us. Maybe next to us, knows us, went to college with us, but that doesn't mean grew up exactly like us.
And pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome
what has been.
And achieves the second highest office in the land and is putting forward concrete concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities.
Really?
From housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine.
And that's another thing. I just like RFK talked about is all this affording medicine. Why don't you make it so that we stay healthy? So we buy as little medicine as possible so that we don't have to be hooked on this or taking these prescriptions for the rest of our lives because they have side effects and all these other issues. We need to make it so that Americans, all people, period, are not even getting sick. And when we do, it's so mild we can get rid of it like that. You know what I mean?
Making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act so everybody's got health and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person.
Now, here's the thing. I've heard stuff on both sides, okay? I've seen black people coming out talking about how much Trump did for them, helped their families, helped them personally. Some of them are elites, rich people, celebrities, and some of them wasn't. So I've seen those, okay? And at the same time, I've heard about this whole thing he did with his father where he was denying black people something. Some people fight against that and say, well, that's not what's really going on, and I don't know. So maybe he did some good and he did some bad against black folk, right? But on the other side, all I keep hearing about Kamala is all the black men she put in prison. That's all I keep hearing. I don't hear about all of the great stuff that she did for black people. Maybe there is. Send it to me. You know, I have an open mind about this stuff. And I've told you all this, that, hey, if they're both corrupt, I'm just going to vote for the person that is going to make my life better. Okay? Our lives better. That's going to be better for the country. It's like, well, if you both got dirt on you, it don't matter. I personally do not care whether one is a felon or whether one isn't, because many times in politics, dirt is just done and they didn't get caught. That is just how it is. Or it was swept under the rug or all this. We all know politics is dirty. That's why I would never get into it. Ever. Oh, no. So I'm just like, well, you know, I heard Dr. Umar speak on both of them. They said, you know, Trump took out an ad to put the Central Park 5 in prison, but and then he was saying also Kamala put black men in prison. So I'm just like, okay, well, they both apparently did something that wasn't good for black people, correct? Yeah, well, you just throwing stones with glass houses on each side then.
And you're thinking about sitting out?
Someone should have jumped in and said something to him, but everybody either had too much respect or was scared to say something. They let him keep rolling.
But, because of cooking, and you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
They ain't got nothing to do with it. They ain't got nothing to do with it. Trust me on that, Mr. Obama. It really doesn't. It's all about what she's saying, what her policies are, how she acts, how she comes across. And too many people are just like, she doesn't feel real. And even with me, she doesn't feel real. I feel like, listen, I dated this one chick. She reminds me of her and how she does this. And even her mom said this about her. I remember I was like, exactly, like her mom. She was not black, and when she was around black people, her voice would change. I remember when I first noticed it, I was like, man, what in the hell is she doing? So when later I was just like, yo, what is this? I was like, this is like the third or fourth time I noticed this. Whenever you're around black people, you all, I'm like, well, you're not about to spit no bars on a rap album. Like, just be you. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a minor amount of us that will only accept you if you try to act like us. And it was fake. We actually got into a few fights over it because I was just like, this is really irritating. You got to stop doing this. I am so sick and tired of this. But I know it was because of her childhood, she wasn't accepted very much. So she tried her best to fit in. It just filtered into adulthood. That was the problem. I know exactly what it was. So she was always still trying to be accepted when she didn't have to be. I mean, we're not kids anymore, And, child, I'm out here in these streets and they ain't like us. And I just bought all these black music albums and this is who I bought. And then I must sing the lines. I mean, she is trying so hard and you can see right through it. Damn it, man. Gnats in my, what is, I'm trying to think of why I got gnats in my house. And I threw away some fruit or something, didn't put it out yet. Anyway. Yeah, that's, that ain't it. Because didn't Hillary win like the popular vote? So people were ready then to have a female president or whatever, but she didn't win, so.
Coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
It's nothing to do with her sex, sir.
And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop,
if it's critical, anyone with critical thinking skills, you know what I mean? With an average IQ or above, trust me, it's not about her sex.
You are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there.
She was part of that system that wasn't working for us, putting all them black men in prison. Yo, man, politics is hilarious to me. And y'all really be on some home team stuff. This is why I can't get involved in it like this. I do these videos because you guys like to hear from a guy that's not like Team Blue or Team Red. You know what I mean? But it's, I don't know how y'all do it. Vote blue no matter who. What's the term for the other side? I don't think I've heard anything about red. Vote red. Are you scared? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know how y'all do it. When y'all will literally hear people on both sides spout stuff. And it's like sometimes they'll have really good points. And then sometimes it's like, all right, now, wait a minute now. Sometimes I question things because I'm just like, okay, apparently they have to go this way with it. They have to twist this and move in this direction because they're on this side. But you can tell that they're smart enough to know that this isn't the right decision for this particular thing they're talking about. They're just doing that because this is part of what the left talks about or part of what the right talks about.
So now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you?
There was no new wars and the economy was better, and I felt safer when he was in office. It don't feel that way right now at all. So Trump all day.
Because you think that's a sign of strength? Because That's what being a man is. Putting women down.
They both put each other down. Come on now. Stop.
That's not acceptable. That's not it. This shouldn't even be a question.
Only Rosie O'Donnell. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. I hope to God Trump wins because I do not have a good feeling about the left winning. 10 million subscribers. Woo.